Well, in the past week, we've seen two devastating wrong-way crashes. The first on the Southern State Parkway, which took the life of a 9-year-old boy. The driver of the vehicle, his mom, charged with operating a motor vehicle while impaired by drugs. And another on the Henry Hudson Parkway, which killed a groom-to-be and his cousin. The cause and that driver is still unknown since he fled from the scene. So what can we do to make our roadways safer, especially as we head into a busy travel weekend? Joining us now to discuss from AAA is Robert Sinclair. Mr. Sinclair, good to see you. How are you? So common risk factors that are involved in the tri-state area that lead to these tragic accidents. Let's first and foremost just state the obvious. Obviously being drunk behind the wheel, that's one huge factor.
Yeah, that's the main one, it seems. And 60% of the 3,885 deaths, I should say, 3,885 deaths were in wrong-way crashes from 2010 to 2018. 52% were the wrong-way driver. And of that number, 60% had a blood alcohol content above 0.08. So that is the most common risk factor. And it seems that when people are out on the road, they are not paying attention. The 13% of the wrong-way drivers had license problems, and 70% were male. And 81% were driving without a passenger. Now, we've seen a lot about the wrong-way crashes and how senior citizens are in a lot of them, but it seems that if you're a young person in your 20s and you're a male, you're most likely to be in that kind of crash.
You know, and it's funny, we've highlighted this obviously because these have been two devastating crashes within the last week here. You know, I commute to the office from New Jersey on some pretty popular roadways, but at the time that I'm commuting at 2:30 in the morning, obviously they're not that highly populated. I've had two occasions in the last 6 months where I have been passed by someone who was on my side of the highway going in the opposite direction. Yeah, so it's amazing how frequent this does happen, especially when it's not real crowded out there, like these two accidents that we've been talking about here. So what needs to be done with it? I mean, there's signs everywhere. I mean, you know, it's not like more signs can be put up. I mean, at some point, people need to take responsibility, whether they're drunk or not, to not be going the wrong way.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think having a passenger is very important, and the stats bring that out. But you have to keep in mind that our infrastructure locally is very old. Much of it predates modern transportation engineering. I was out on the Northern State Parkway yesterday, and very often you've got the exit ramp is right next to the entrance ramp, and like you say, there are signs: wrong way, go back, all that sort of thing. But it can be very difficult if you're impaired. And one of the factors that we looked at in the study that we did of wrong-way crashes was whether or not the person was licensed out of state, because that leads to familiarity or lack of familiarity with the roadway. And that's something to think about going into the holiday weekend, because New York City is the 4th most popular destination for those who are taking a trip. So you'll have a lot of people that are from out of town, and maybe their infrastructure is a little bit better, and they have to deal with these situations. Many times these entrances and exits don't have a lot of lighting. It's very difficult. We have infrastructure. There's not much that you can do other than just wholesale, you know, tearing everything up and rebuilding it. So it's really important that we stay aware that we're not driving impaired, either by alcohol or more and more these days, drugs.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So let's flip the coin here. Let's say you're not impaired, but you do make an honest mistake and you realize, hey, wait a second, I'm either going down the wrong ramp or I'm on the wrong side of the road. What should people do to obviously keep themselves safe, get off the roadway, but not cause an accident?
Yeah, but it's hard to know a hard and fast activity to deal with that kind of situation. If you realize you're going the wrong way, get over to the shoulder of the road as quickly as possible and try and turn around and do it safely. Like you say, these things often happen very late, and nighttime conditions are when they happen most. So it's important to keep these things in mind. If you wind up being the wrong way driver yourself, or if you encounter the wrong way driver, sometimes there's just nothing you can do. We saw with the case out on in Long Island that the police were pursuing this person that was driving the wrong way for quite a distance, and they ignored them and wound up getting into the crash.
And Robert, last question for you. I got about 15 seconds. Each year, each holiday rather, we keep saying it's going to be the busiest. It's going to be the busiest. Is this Labor Day expected to now be yet another one of the busiest?
Don't know if it's going to be the busiest, but it's going to be very busy. Consider the fact that there will be more than nearly 5 million vehicles that will use the intra-city New York bridges and tunnels over the holiday weekend, with the Verrazano Narrows Bridge the busiest. From Thursday until Monday, it will see 1.1 million vehicles.
Unbelievable. Okay, from AAA,
Yeah.
Robert Sinclair, our good friend. Thanks to have you with us, Robert. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, for more on this subject, head to our website, cbsnewyork.com. We'll continue to bring you any updates on those two crashes that we've been talking about as we get more information.